Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the World Conflict Monitor. Please subscribe and like my videos today. I'm bringing you a detailed review/explanation of energy warfare, Russia's massive assault on Ukraine's gas grid. In this video, we will break down the key aspects of this documentary or report as though it were a product or program, and will examine its exterior, interior, performance, safety features, i.e., reliability, factual integrity, balance, unique selling points, the price, in terms of cost, consequences, and implications, and then conclude with an overall verdict and recommendation. When I say exterior, I mean how it presents itself, the framing, visuals, introduction, style. By interior, I mean the substance, the narrative, depth, interviews, supporting data. Performance will evaluate how well it delivers its message. Safety features are the checks and balances, the credibility. Unique selling points are what make it stand out. Price means the cost in credibility, political risk, or impact. Let's begin. From the moment the video opens, you see sweeping aerial shots of Ukraine's gas installations and pipelines, perhaps set against winter landscapes or industrial complexes, overlaid with bold titles: Energy Warfare, Russia's Massive Assault on Ukraine's Gas Grid. The opening draws you in with dramatic imagery, plumes of smoke, damaged infrastructure, night vision or infrared visuals, maps showing pipeline networks, and animated strike paths. The tone is urgent, somber, evocative. The sound design often includes low atmospheric scores or ominous drones to underscore the gravity of the topic. The exterior also includes on-screen graphics, maps of gas pipelines, charts of production, timelines of attacks, and highlight segments of key regions like Kharkiv, Poltava, and other energy hubs. The exterior framing emphasizes this is not just a military clash. It is a war on civilian infrastructure, energy security, and survival. Furthermore, the visual style often juxtaposes contrast, before and after satellite images, nighttime blackouts, and gas plant interiors, making very clear visually that damage has occurred. The color palette often shifts to muted, cold tones, grays, blues, black to reinforce the chill and hardship. The title cards, transitions, and cinematic sequences are polished, giving it a high production feel, like a serious documentary or investigative report. Turning to the interior, the heart and substance, this is where the video review must dwell more deeply, because it's the core of what makes it credible or not. The video begins by laying out the context, why gas infrastructure matters in Ukraine, especially in a winter climate, how Ukraine's domestic gas production, import dependencies, and storage capacity have evolved, and what Russia's strategic incentives are in targeting gas facilities. It references historical precedents of infrastructure attacks in war, and frames energy as both a civilian necessity and a potential weapon. Then it introduces the timeline of assaults. For example, the recent massive attack in which Russia launched dozens of missiles and hundreds of drones at gas production and processing facilities, especially in the Kharkiv and Poltava regions. It cites that Russia deployed 35 missiles and 60 drones in one wave, striking multiple gas installations and causing critical damage to several. It explores statements from Naftogaz, Ukraine's state gas company, where its CEO said that part of the facilities had critical damage and that the attacks had no military purpose, positioning them as acts of terror to disrupt civilian life and heat supply. The interior includes interviews or quoting officials, energy analysts, Ukrainian local authorities detailing blackouts, consumer impacts, emergency responses, and repair efforts. It may showcase footage or photos of damaged plants, pipelines, charred infrastructure, firefighting response, sabotage investigations, sites under repair, and areas under blackout. The report also delves into technical diagrams, pipeline networks, gas flow charts, capacity statistics, decline in domestic output, for instance. Prior strikes earlier this year reduced Ukraine's domestic gas output by about 40%. Storage targets Kiev was aiming to stockpile 2 billion cubic meters by mid-October to cover winter demands, and the extent of region-wise consumer outages. On the interior side, the video also compares energy strategies, how Ukraine is trying to import gas, diversify energy sources, strengthen its grid resilience, and coordinate with European energy systems. The video may include segments on countermeasures, how air defenses, drone defense, redundancy planning, repair logistics, and emergency energy sharing work. It might also explore the cyber side, how grid and pipeline control systems can be vulnerable to hacking or electronic disruption. In that interior, the narrative may pause to contextualize the geopolitical motives, how Russia sees weakening Ukraine's energy resilience as a way to exert pressure, degrade morale, and complicate governance in winter, possibly to force concessions or destabilize. The interior works to balance narrative by including counterclaims. Russian Defense Ministry statements that the strikes targeted military, industrial, or energy infrastructure serving the war effort, and that designated targets were legitimate. The video may also bring in expert voices, energy security scholars, geopolitical analysts, engineers, and humanitarian voices to assess effects on civilians. The interior may conclude with projections, how this assault may affect Ukraine's ability to sustain heating, energy costs, reconstruction burden, external assistance, and regional energy security in Europe. When it comes to performance, how well this video delivers overall, it is powerful and effective. It succeeds in combining emotional resonance with solid data. Its visuals are compelling, the narrative pacing is strong, and it maintains urgency without becoming melodramatic. It interweaves macro strategy with micro-human impact, helping viewers feel the stakes, not only pipelines and infrastructure, but homes, clinics, heating, survival. It balances technical depth statistics, maps, production numbers with accessible storytelling for non-experts. The transitions often keep momentum, and the graphics and animations help clarify complex infrastructure systems. The juxtaposition of before/after satellite images, maps, and media clips sharpen its impact. Where the video stumbles is sometimes in fully exploring dissenting views or technical uncertainties, for example, how much of the damage can be quickly restored, or how much gas could be rerouted or compensated by imports. Sometimes it may assume the worst-case scenario without always showing caveats, but overall its performance is compelling, educational, and memorable. It's more than alarmist, it's grounded in data, and it makes you think. Safety features here refer not to physical safety, but to credibility safeguards, sourcing, transparency, balance, citation of evidence, and acknowledgement of uncertainty. The video does well in citing official statements from Naftogaz, Ukrainian government, Russian Defense Ministry, statistical data, independent expert commentary, satellite imagery, and third-party news source support. It often marks claims of versus confirmed damage. It may include disclaimers such as extent of damage under investigation, or this cannot be independently verified yet. In segments where Russian claims are quoted, it does so with attribution and sometimes counters or provides context. That is a safety valve for bias. The inclusion of multiple perspectives makes it more trustworthy. If it also includes footnotes or links to primary documents or publicly available reports, NGO, think tanks, energy agencies, that enhances safety. However, The video should be cautious about speculative projections or doom loop language. The best versions remain restrained when certainty is lacking. The capacity to say this is our understanding as of now, subject to revision, is a sign of strong integrity. Unique selling points. Why this video stands out. First, its framing of energy infrastructure as a front in warfare. Energy warfare is not a metaphor but a literal theme, and that vantage is compelling and relatively underexplored in media. Second, its visual storytelling is strong, combining satellite imagery, maps, technical overlays, on-ground damage shots, animations of pipeline networks, and before/after comparisons gives it cinematic depth. Third, its balance of macro and micro. It doesn't just talk in strategic abstractions, but shows how individual households, localities, and repair crews are impacted. Fourth, its timing and relevance. As winter approaches and energy security becomes acute, this topic is urgent. Fifth, it taps into broader themes: climate, infrastructure resilience, war's impact beyond battlefields, and geopolitical energy leverage. Sixth, it tries to bring in multiple voices: analysts, officials, engineers, rather than purely one narrative. All of this gives it more authority and distinguishes it from simple news segments or opinion pieces. Now let me address price, the costs, implications, and risks inherent in producing and consuming such a video. On the production side, gathering credible evidence in a war zone is costly, dangerous, and logistically difficult. Verifying damage, obtaining satellite imagery, interviewing local sources, these come with financial, security, and ethical costs. There is also reputational risk. If claims turn out to be overblown or misreported, credibility suffers. On the viewer side, the cost is emotional. The video may evoke fear, anger, despair, but also urgency and activism. Politically, the video may draw backlash or censorship in certain environments, especially by actors who dispute its framing. There is also the cost of complexity. For a general audience, too much technical detail may be overwhelming and risk losing engagement. Another cost, exaggeration or selective presentation, can lead to polarization or misinformation if not cautious. In terms of consequences, such a video can influence public opinion, pressure governments to act, attract funding or aid, or provoke counter-narratives from opposing states. The price is thus multidimensional: investment, credibility risk, audience response, political hazard, but also potential payoff in impact. In conclusion, energy warfare, Russia's massive assault on Ukraine's gas grid, is a compelling, timely, and well-crafted examination of one of the less visible but highly consequential fronts of the Russo-Ukraine war. Its exterior is polished and dramatic, grabbing attention. Its interior balances narrative, data, and visuals. Its performance is strong with only minor allowances for caution. Its safety features provide credibility checks. Its unique selling points make it distinctive, and its price is matched by its potential for meaningful impact. For anyone seeking to understand not just bombs and bullets, but the subtler yet devastating warfare of infrastructure, energy, and civilian endurance, this video is a must-watch. If I were to rate it, I'd give it something like 8. 5/10, with room for improvement in deeper technical nuance and continued updates as the conflict evolves. Thank you for watching this review. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share. Stay informed, stay critical, and I'll see you in the next video.